Okay, today I am replacing a motherboard on a Lenovo ThinkPad X230. And here's what the motherboard looks like. Oop, that's not good. It's funny packaging. Here we go. So we'll be replacing the motherboard, and it'll fit in like that. And we'll also be checking to see if we have to reinstall Windows or not. And also doing things like connecting the heatsink, putting new thermal paste on the GPU and CPU, reinstalling the RAM, everything like that. So with any luck, it won't be too difficult. So what I'll start with is take my Phillips head screwdriver and just start removing screws on the back. First take the battery out. And so you just want to take, if you're doing this, anywhere that you find a screw on the back of this case, just take it out. And we have two screws right here that hold the display. So we'll take those off too. We'll want to take everything off. So I'll just start by taking off all the screws. Okay, now that we have all the screws out, right here on the side of the laptop is where the hard drive or solid state drive is. And you just need to take the one screw out, and you'll be able to lift off this plastic piece here that's holding it in. And it should just slide right out. There should be a little plastic tab that you can pull on the hard drive caddy. There. Alright, now we're ready to take off the keyboard and then the palm rest. So the keyboard, you can just gently push up, but if you have something like a small flathead screwdriver, that'll help a bit too. Just to get the tabs loose from the palm rest, like that. Very easy, no screws on this part, and it just there's a ribbon cable that you just pull directly off the motherboard here. Let's set this off to the side. Same deal with the palm rest. There's a little ribbon cable to take out, and I just use this little plastic bit that I got in a cell phone repair kit, I believe. So lift that up, or you can use your thumb, whatever you like, as long as you're careful. And then you just pull it right out. And the palm rest should come up fairly easily. Just be somewhat gentle so you don't end up breaking the plastic tabs that hold it in place. But just as easy as that. Set that off to the side. And now we can focus on taking we have this plastic bit right here. Actually, that's on top of the motherboard. We'll take that off first. There's two screws holding it in right here, right here. You'll see them right away. And I'm just I've taken a few of these apart, so I kind of remember where the screws go and which screws go where, but if this is your first time, you may want to label them. So we have a few cables here to take out. So this is also right here is where you can put in a mSATA SSD. If you want to have a dual boot, you can put a mSATA SSD there, and also a second hard drive right here, so you have extra storage. Or you can put a WWAN card in there too. So this will also, just be gentle pulling this out, just the same plastic tabs. Try not to break them. And we'll set that off to the side too. We'll remove the cables here from the wireless networking card, the Wi-Fi card. And we'll take the screw out of the Wi-Fi card right now. So that's going to come out with the motherboard. Okay, next up, there's a cable connecting right here and right here. One is for the power plug, the AC adapter plug, and that's this one right here. Or sorry, no, that's on the other side of the board. That is for the display. And we'll take this one out here as well. Let's put these cables off to the side a little bit. Oh, there's a little screw here too. Okay, just take a look around and make sure that you have all the screws removed. And then you can gently... Well, actually, I'm going to lift the display out. Because we already took those screws off, and now that we have the cables detached, it'll come out quite easily just like that. You can just pop it right out. Okay, and now we have more room to pull the board out. And if you're gentle, I'll remove this cable here. If you're gentle, it should be pretty easy. Oh, right. There is another small screw holding the power plug in. There's a little bracket that you can take off. Okay, and it just looks like that. That's pretty out of focus, but it's pretty obvious. Okay, so there we go. Now this board is dead, and with any luck, this motherboard swap is going to do the trick, and we'll bring this computer back to life. So we'll take the Wi-Fi card out, flip this over, and we'll take the RAM stick off, and we can unplug the power plug, a DC power plug, and we'll go ahead and unplug the fan from the motherboard too. Here, we'll start taking out the heatsink now. Alright, so now that we have the fan and the heatsink off, it's a good time to clean them. So I'm just going to pause the video for one moment and we'll get to work on that. Okay, so now I'm going to take some isopropyl alcohol and a rag, and I'm going to clean off this part of the heatsink right here. You'll notice there's another little patch of paste right here. I'm just going to leave that right on because it'll still work for the other board. And to my knowledge, I don't really need to worry about taking that off. So scrub away. Well, actually, I'm going to scrape some of this off first. And again, I'm just using a little plastic flathead screwdriver type thing that I got from a repair kit. One of many. Alright, nice and clean. And while I'm at it, I'm also going to open up the fan case and see if there's any dirt to clean out. It'll also take this time to clean off the fan. And generally for that, you'll need a smaller Phillips head screwdriver. So it helps to have a kit like this, where you have multiple sizes and different types. So I'm going to run into those pretty frequently, especially working with smaller components like in a laptop or a tablet. So just locate a couple screws on top of the fan case, wherever they may be. Worst comes to worst, you can always just put the screw back. Don't worry about it too much. Okay. Looks like there's a tiny, I haven't actually, there we go. Yeah, there's a tiny little tab right there. With a small flathead. I'll try to get this in focus. Just to show what I'm talking about. Okay. Anyway, there's a small little tab there that you can lift up with a tiny flathead screwdriver if you have one. Okay. Well, maybe I'm taking this off the wrong way. I'm going to pause the video and find out. Okay, so I noticed that when I took the two little tiny screws off this side of the copper plate, really had to bend it up, and I don't really want to do that. So I was able to take a flashlight and just peek inside these two grills here, and there's not really any buildup of dust sitting in there, so I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to put these screws back on. And I just took some, if you have a compressed air can or something like that, or just gently blow on it. In my opinion, that should be okay. Okay. So we have that complete. Just put this old board off to the side and bring in the new. Out with the old. Okay. Here we go. So first things first, I'm going to apply some new thermal paste onto the board here. You can buy this paste from any computer shop, most likely. If you have to, go to Best Buy, or you can buy online. Alright. Now I'm just going to zoom in a little bit, show this process. So remember, we already have that little pad. We already have the little pad right here. So we don't need to put any paste on this GPU, just on the CPU, which is the slightly longer one, or rectangle shape instead of a square. You don't need to put too much. I'm just going to put a thin line. That's plenty. That's lots right there. You'll notice if you take apart your board, like on this old one, you'll see that quite a bit of paste actually spilt off to the side. So if that happens to you, I wouldn't worry too much. It's based on the assumption that it's not going to wreck your CPU. Maybe if you really gunk it on, but it should be okay. So line up your screws for your heatsink. And we'll screw this back in. Alright, wonderful. So we'll take some time putting some plugs back in. We're going to plug the fan back in. Okay. And let's see. Well, I may as well plug the power plug back in. We'll flip it over, and here's the Bluetooth card. This little tiny skinny rectangle. I'm going to plug that back in too. And there's just a little, well, you'll see it if you take it out. Plugs in very easily. We'll screw that in later. Okay. Well, we have a Wi-Fi card, but I'll hold off on that. I'm gonna grab the case, and we can work on putting this back in. Okay. These ThinkPads are actually quite enjoyable to put back together. It's a really nice design. Make it quite easy to work on. Other laptops, you'll just be spending a lot of time just squeezing the board in and out. I do find with ThinkPads, at least for certain generations, very nice to work with. It's almost like putting a piece of Lego, like a Lego set together. Okay, so now that we have that sitting quite nice, I'm going to put the Wi-Fi card back in. I'll screw that down. Okay, I'll screw down the Bluetooth card. Actually, I'm just going to zoom out a little bit here. I'll get back in focus. Okay. And now we'll take the little bracket for the power plug, place that back in. I usually like to wear tighter gloves if I have to wear them. The main reason why I'm wearing gloves I don't always wear gloves, but this laptop's just a little, it's just a little greasy. And I didn't spend a lot of time cleaning it before I took it apart. You'll find that with some tech repair if you have any clients. Sometimes it helps to have a pair of gloves so you're not touching all the finger grease and dead skin. I don't mean to gross you out, but anyway. We'll put the display back on. I love the way this display fits in. I'm just going to show this really quick. There's two little squares on either end. And it's just super easy to fit back in. I love it. There's no awkward hinges. So it's awesome design. Okay. Now, to take a second to feed these cables back in here before I put that plastic piece back on. Okay, now, sometimes it'll just take a second to figure out where you need to feed the cables through. So I apologize for me fumbling around here. No matter how many times I take something apart, I'm always going to fool around with something. Okay, well actually, it's a little too hasty in putting this back on. You have to plug the display back into the motherboard here. So the way the cable is designed, you'll notice as soon as you take a closer look at it, it's quite obvious if it's in all the way and if it's not. And of course, if the display is not working, then you'll definitely know. Okay, wonderful. Let's stick this plastic piece back on. And now if you got a critical eye, you probably might notice that it's possible that I missed a screw somewhere. But I'm not going to worry about that too much. If I miss one or two screws here and there, but everything's still fits in place. I'm not gonna lose sleep over it. Okay, so there's 2 screws I'm gonna pop in right there because I'm just kind of bending upwards. Where's my screwdriver? Here it is. Okay, so I didn't notice that my camera stopped recording. I really got to change those settings. All I did from the last place it left off was put the palm rest back on. We'll finish feeding these cables through and put the palm rest back on. It's very easy to snap in and reattach the ribbon cable to the motherboard. Okay, so we'll go on from there and we'll put the keyboard back in now. And again, it's very easy. For myself, I have to squint or put my glasses on so I don't wreck anything. Okay. Okay. Oh, that went in quite nicely. If you're ever unsure, just flip it over and take a look at the screw holes, and if they're lined up, then you're good. So now we'll take the time to put all the screws back in the case. Okay, Now we're ready to put the RAM stick back in. In this case we have 4 GB DDR3 RAM. And the solid state drive. And in this case it's a SanDisk X110 128 GB solid state drive. Nice little drive. Cover back on and we're almost ready to go. Okay, now I'm just going to pause the video and go find my power adapter. Okay, so I've got my power adapter. And good news, I saw the battery light flash, so we're going to power this on, and with any luck, the motherboard swap is the fix. Good news, we got power on. Awesome. So, I'm just going to go into BIOS, and I'll just take a moment here. I'll keep this filming just for educational purposes, I guess. Yeah, our looks good. I just wanted to check the time, and we are looking pretty good. However, the time is off by a few hours. I'll just fix that, and then we'll see if this boots on. Cool. Okay, it looks like our SSD is recognized. So hit F10, save and exit. And we'll see. If this boots up fine, then I won't have to reinstall Windows. I'm guessing it should be okay. Maybe have to update BIOS, but again, I'll check once Windows loads. It'll probably be okay. Okay, so I made, oh, there we go. Very nice. Oh, the password, okay. Well, I can't fully test this until I get the client's password, so I'm just going to, I'll pause the video and come right back. Okay, and as you can see, it's all good. We are into Windows. So, success. Looks like they're trying to log into Discord, but it's not connected to the Wi-Fi right now, so. Anyway, we got a little dialog box here saying, oh, that's just for iTunes. That's fine, I'm just gonna cancel that. Cool. So, let's, oh yeah. Let's hit OK for that. These are just some programs that the client had loaded on. So anyways, the board replacement was a success. I'm just going to take a moment to log onto the Wi-Fi here and run some updates, run some extra tests. But I think we're good to go. I think it's safe to say this is a usable item once again. So let's see, for a board replacement, I found one off eBay. I'll just quickly look up the price, just in case. I'll put it in the comments below. And while I'm looking up, I'll mention that if you have any questions that weren't answered in this video, you can feel free to leave a comment below, and I'll likely get back to it. Because, again, my channel is not very large, and I've got some free time to answer some questions and help people out if needed. So I spent $84.90 in Canadian dollars for this board. not for this board, but the board that I put in here. And the Lenovo X230 is still a really good laptop in 2020, so I would say it's definitely worth it to spend $84.90 instead of spending hundreds of dollars for a new board. And if you're handy at all with small electronics, you might be able to diagnose this board. This board might not be completely done. However, when I was testing it out, I was getting sparks. And anyways, just some pretty bad signs that this board is no longer usable. At least without some real in-depth or some knowledge that I don't possess. Anyway, I'm going to end the video now, so I hope this helped you out. And again, feel free to leave a comment if you need any help, and I'll try to set you in the right direction, or we'll work together on the solution. Okay, thanks so much for watching.